So Nintendo just gave Mario Kart World a nice big juicy update. Very possibly the biggest update the game has had so far. Lots of little changes and bug fixes, and I already did a whole video on that and whether or not it fixes the online. Does it fix the online? Spoiler alert, not really. It improves it a bit, but I don't know. Yeah, go watch that video if you want my thoughts on all of that. Thing is though, apparently it seems that they have changed something else about the game, and for some reason they did not put it in the patch notes. I had to read about it elsewhere, and yeah, like at the time of this recording, the update is not very old at all. So like a lot of this is still kind of coming out. People are digging into the game and kind of figuring it out. But apparently, it seems that Nintendo has changed how much momentum you get when you trick, like when you pull off tricks in midair. It is a real, tangible change to just how much momentum, how much speed you get. And it's really, really surprising to see that they did not put this in the patch notes, because, I mean, what are the patch notes for? You know, I mean, they outline the tiniest little changes, you know, yeah, like for all the bug fixes, really, really teeny tiny little stuff most people probably wouldn't even know. I mean, they could just say, fixed a bunch of issues. And like, you know, they don't have to tell us everything. They could be pretty vague about it, but they choose to, you know, what is it, like, fixed an issue where the player would get caught on the outside of a handrail on the left and right sides right after the start of Airship Fortress. You know, like they're really, really detailed about it. And then as for not bug fixes, but just other changes, again, you get really little detailed stuff. Made it so there is a wheel spinning animation if the player presses the A button, acceleration, too early when starting a race while driving. Player will not lose speed even when spinning wheels. So like, it's just an animation change, but they still felt that they should mention it. So it's very strange that they would make a change to the very physics of the game. How your kart moves and how the mechanics affect your speed. I mean, that's kind of a big deal, right? But they didn't really say anything. I don't know who first discovered this, but it must have been someone in the speedrunning community, because that's really where we are seeing the most impact of this change. Speedrunners are kind of marveling at how easy it is now to beat their previous records. People are uploading videos of themselves doing their usual speedrunning thing, which is amazing, by the way. Like, I mean, it was always obvious that this game was gonna have a crazy, awesome speedrunning scene with all of the new tricks and you know, wall riding and jumping and everything. And I haven't really had a chance to dig into that yet and really like see what people can do. And so this was a really awesome chance to finally see, like, yes, it is everything as cool as I expected it to be. Everything as impressive. They're just jumping and bouncing and wall riding and rail riding all over the place. It's really, really cool, and I'm actually really looking forward to watching some more. I missed SGDQ. I always do. I miss every GDQ, and I think they were even doing Mario Kart. I was at a friend's, at like a party or something, and they had it on in the background, and I caught little glimpses of it, but I didn't really get to watch. But yeah, need to watch some of that soon, because it is really impressive. And yeah, so speedrunners are just kind of like doing the usual. You know, usually they're grinding these levels out. They're trying again and again and again and again and again, trying to just shave milliseconds off their high scores or best times or whatever. But right now, it is apparently easy to just shave off quite a bit, almost effortlessly, just in one try. They can just kind of like, oh yeah, look at that. You know, you race against your ghost data, and they're just leaving their ghosts in the dust. This change that has been made to the momentum system is having a really, really big impact on how quickly people can do things. But it's funny though, because they're also talking about how this does mean a pretty big change to how they are going to have to speedrun a lot of these courses, because a change like this, you know, on the surface, they are able to beat their old scores, but now those old scores are irrelevant because now they're going to have to fine-tune this, and this probably is going to lead to a pretty dramatic change in the routes, in the routing, in the whole entire strategy. They pretty much have to like redo everything, just start from square one. Which, I mean, I know that speedrunners are generally used to. I don't know how many of you actually follow speedrunning. I don't like, religiously follow it or anything, but I love watching a GDQ when I can make the time to do so. And it's kind of amazing because, like, even one new strategy, one new strat, someone discovers one new trick about a game, and it has the potential to completely disrupt the usual route. And essentially, like, even if it can save one single, like, fraction of a second, well, I mean, it depends, but like, if it can save any amount of time at all, it kind of becomes like the default way, and you may have to just completely change what you do and relearn this whole new structure. And it's really amazing. They're incredibly dedicated people, and I'm floored by how they do this. So this, basically this right here is a really big shakeup, at least in the speedrunning community. And so that does lead us to the question, how much is this actually going to affect your average player? I don't really know how much. I really don't know if it's the kind of thing that we're going to be able to notice much at all. And that could be why Nintendo didn't say anything about it. It could be that it was just such a tiny little change. They're like, I don't know, your average person isn't even going to notice, so why even say it? I still don't really get it. I don't know why you wouldn't just say, changed the physics on tricking or landing after a trick. It would have been pretty easy. But yeah, I really don't know if it's going to affect anyone other than speedrunners, because, the videos I'm watching from speedrunners, they are marveling at how much further ahead of their old ghosts they are. But they're not, like, so much further ahead, because, like, these people are so good. Like, you take, like, the skill of me. I couldn't even call myself average. I'm well below average, but let's just pretend for a second I'm average. And, take my skill level versus a speedrunner who's that much better at it, practices it that much more, and is actually, like, pulling off legit strategies, like tricks, like, oh, and then you jump off of this and then you skip this whole section of the map, and you're talking an increase in skill and faster time by a factor of like 100 times, 300 I don't know, like, it's you take my time versus theirs, theirs is gonna be just a fraction of mine. I don't actually know what the 300 is, probably an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. It's by that much more. So if they're shaving off a few seconds, then it could, you divide that up among my whole entire race, and it could be the difference of like a second, but like total spread, over the whole entire however minutes long race. I'm not going to notice that kind of thing. I don't know if your actual average person is going to notice that kind of thing. It could literally just be people who are really, really hardcore. Okay, well, there you go. You could just say, like, above average, not necessarily speedrunners, but people who are just really, really good at the game, and who are, people do time trials. They try to beat their scores. They try to beat each other's ghosts. So I suppose you could say that kind of person is probably going to see at least some difference. Maybe, possibly. Then again, I don't know. Really, a speedrunner is the kind of person that's gonna like see really consistent times versus like even a person who's really good. I don't know how consistent their times are. How much variation is there between their attempts? I don't know, getting a little bit too deep into this. Point is though, secret update. Don't know how much it's gonna affect the game. I don't know. It's just fun to talk about speedrunning sometimes. I think it's really fun. You know what? I think there's a lot of people out there who just don't quite see it. And I was one of those people. I didn't quite get it, and I had a lot of like critical stuff to say about it. It's because I didn't really understand it, and now that I get it, I just like, I don't know, I want to like preach the gospel of speedrun. Like, no, it's fun. Like, trust me, trust me, it's really cool. And it's an aspect of video games that I find really, really fascinating and interesting, and I really barely ever get to talk about it. Like, really barely ever get to talk about it at all. So yeah, I guess that's why I'm taking this opportunity, because it's fun. So all you Mario Kart World speedrunners out there, congratulations on your faster times, and my condolences for all of the courses you're gonna have to like completely completely reroute.